I discovered that nothing in life holds real value unless you're willing to take risks. As Nelson Mandela once said, there is no passion in playing small, in settling for a life that's less than what you're capable of living. I'm sure you've heard it time and again, whether in school, while applying to colleges, or choosing your major, that you should always have something to fall back on. Make sure you have a safety net, they say. But I've never quite understood that concept of having something to fall back on. If I'm going to fall, I don't want to fall back on anything. I want to fall forward. At least that way, I'll see what's coming my way. Without consistency, you'll never reach the finish line. So, pursue what you're truly passionate about, take risks, and don't fear failure. There's an old IQ test with 9 dots, where you had to draw 5 lines through them without lifting your pencil. The only way to succeed was to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big and to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams. Reggie Jackson struck out 2,600 times in his career, the most in baseball history. But you don't hear much about those strikeouts. People remember the home runs. Fall forward. Thomas Edison conducted 1,000 failed experiments. Did you know that? Neither did I, because the 1001st experiment gave us the light bulb. Every failed experiment is one step closer to success. You have to take risks. I'm sure you've heard this before, but I want to emphasize why it's so crucial. At some point in life, you will fail, you will lose, you will embarrass yourself, and you will be bad at something. There's no escaping it, and that's probably not the typical graduation message, but I'm telling you, embrace it. It's inevitable. In the acting business, failure is constant. Early in my career, I auditioned for a Broadway musical. A perfect role, I thought, except I couldn't sing. I didn't get the job. But here's the thing. I didn't quit. I didn't fall back. I walked out of that audition room, preparing for the next one, and the next one, and the one after that. I prayed and I prayed, but I kept failing. And it didn't matter because there's an old saying, if you hang around the barber shop long enough, sooner or later you're going to get a haircut. Eventually, I caught a break. Last year, I performed in a play called Fences on Broadway, and here's the kicker. It was at the same theater where I failed that first audition 30 years earlier. The point is, every graduate here today has the training and the talent to succeed. But do you have the courage to fail? Because if you don't fail, you're not even trying. To get something you've never had, you must do something you've never done. Imagine lying on your deathbed, surrounded by the ghosts of your unfulfilled potential. The ideas you never acted on, the talents you never used. They're angry, disappointed, and upset, saying, "We came to you because you could have brought us to life, but now we must go to the grave together." So I ask you today, how many ghosts will be around your bed when your time comes? I recently returned from South Africa, a beautiful country, but with areas of severe poverty in need of help. And Africa is just the beginning. The Middle East needs your help, Japan needs your help, Alabama, Tennessee, Louisiana, Philadelphia, they all need your help. The world needs a lot, and we need it from you, the young people. I'm not speaking for everyone up here, but I know I'm getting a little grayer, so we need it from you. You've got to get out there and give it everything you've got, whether it's your time, your talent, your prayers, or your treasures. So, what are you going to do with what you have? I'm not talking about how much you have, but what you have. Some of you are business majors, some are theologians, nurses, sociologists. Some of you have money, some have patience, some have kindness, some have love, some have the gift of endurance. Whatever it is, whatever your gift is, what are you going to do with it? Here's my last point about failure. Sometimes it's the best way to figure out where you're going. Life's path will never be a straight line. I began at Fordham University as a pre-med student. I took a course called cardiac morphogenesis. I couldn't read it, couldn't say it, and definitely couldn't pass it. So, I switched to pre-law, then to journalism. With no academic focus, my grades went in their own direction, and I ended up with a 1.8 GPA. The university politely suggested that I take some time off. I was 20 years old and at my lowest point. Then one day, I remember it vividly, March 27, 1975, I was helping my mother in her beauty shop. There was this older woman, considered one of the town elders. I didn't know her personally, but I kept noticing her watching me through the mirror. Every time I looked up, she was staring at me, giving me strange looks. Finally, she took the dryer off her head and said something I'll never forget. "Young boy, I have a prophecy, a spiritual prophecy. You are going to travel the world and speak to millions of people." In the years that followed, just as she prophesied, I've traveled the world and spoken to millions of people through my movies. Millions who, up until that day, couldn't see me and whom I couldn't see either. They only saw the movie, not the real me. But today, I see you, and I'm inspired by what I see. I'm strengthened by what I see. Taking risks isn't just about going after a job. It's about knowing what you know and what you don't know. It's about being open to people and ideas. The chances you take, the people you meet, the people you love, the faith you have, those are the things that will define you. Never be discouraged. Never hold back. Give it everything you've got. And when you fall in life, remember this: fall forward.